Samantha, go ahead and ask that question.
Awesome, thank you. Hey, so you mentioned about the tapping into the glute and hitting the midfoot and into pronation. Can you just talk about kinetic chain? Because I never really fully understand that from the foot to glute connection of why the midfoot and pronation would get a little bit more into the glute.
Yeah, good question, Sam. If we want to think about muscles lengthening before they contract, right? Then, well, muscles lengthen before they contract in gait, okay? So if we maybe just talk about walking gait for a minute. So if I heel strike on the floor, and then maybe I'll unshare my screen, Katie, will I? And I can have a bigger view. So maybe take out my foot for this.
Sure.
Yeah, let's try. Are you able to put me on a big screen?
Yeah, you're pinned now, so it's
cool. So let's talk about walking gait for a minute. And I don't care about the presentation. We can go like wherever the hell we want to go with this. I really don't mind. So as I'm going to heel strike and gait, that's a big measure of success for me. So I'm going to hopefully heel strike on the posterior lateral aspect of the calcaneus. Okay, and that's what sets me up in like a bit of more of a supinated position. And if you want to check out some of this work, Gary Ward, I would highly recommend his work. But from there, the calcaneus is hopefully going to start to roll and tip in and tip us down into more of a pronated position. Okay, so I've gone supination, pronation. Now, we all know if Samantha, if you were going to contract your glutes in a bodybuilding type fashion, if you wanted to be featured on Brett Contreras' Instagram, you would probably do a hip thrust where you are going into hip extension, abduction, and external rotation. And we know that the glute fibers, most of the glute fibers are going to shorten and bring me into those positions. And I'm going to get a very deep contraction at the glutes. But what Brett Contreras doesn't understand is, for me to get extension, abduction, and external rotation, I need to be able to access all the opposite things. So adduction, internal rotation, and flexion. And there's debates around this, but a lot of those movements are movements that are going to happen as I go into pronation, okay? So now we know that gravity has sent me into pronation because my calcaneus is almost missing a little bit on the inside. It's going to hit and roll in. Gary talks about it sometimes, like a glass of water that is missing like this part of the glass. And if I put the glass down and I'm missing like the inside of the glass is going to roll this way. And that's my heel bone. So my heel bone is going to roll in this way because gravity is sending it in that direction. So I'm loading into pronation, meaning my glutes are getting experience of a lengthening. And if my glutes don't actually contract to pull me back out of that pronation and resupinate, then my foot is going to keep going. I'm going to lose a knee. I'm going to lose all kinds of things. So I've given my glutes no option but to contract and give me that Brett Contreras external rotation, abduction, and extension that he loves. But all the booty queens on Instagram are getting all those things without ever going into the loading aspect of it first, the internal rotation side of things. And so when they stand up to actually walk, they don't actually use the glute fibers that they've been training so hard because they can't access the lengthening side of things. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
I'll send you that video so you can blow up the internet with it.
I don't know.
There might be a war on Instagram with you and Brett.
Yeah. Brett has more qualifications than me, so he wins. That's usually how the internet works. And more followers. So if I can't lengthen a muscle, I probably can't get it to contract very, very well. It's just two sides of the coin. So we can make very strong glutes in the gym, but as soon as I walk, then they're never going to feel them working, or they're never going to work as well. I really don't like the people who say that they don't activate. That's ridiculous, but they're not operating at their full potential or anything close to that. All right, that's why midfoot, that's why loading into that midfoot is hugely important. It's that like agreement with the floor where I can really load in, and it's getting me ready to use all my extensor chain and getting me setting me up for me to spring off and explode off. But if I can't load in, then I can't explode off. All right, so midfoot is huge. If I could teach people one thing, it would just be like how to get weight into their midfoot, because no one can get it. No one is able to get it. They go heel and then they race into their toes. Someone asked the question as well today. Lisa. When you look at athletes, especially basketball players, it seems like